Part 2 of what music is. In this reality, it was a 3-second break. In your reality, it may have been 8 days. So I went to an outside zero point, an indifferent position of truth on a subject matter that was not impacted by polar deductions. How I perceive the object is never reality. You must move yourself to a singular position to understand it. So the gentleman claimed that music was a universal function throughout all of the universe and it impacted the soul, and how did it speak to us? I did not find any truth in that statement. All I found from the universe when applied to that information was insanity. There is no organized system of information in the universe when it comes to music. This also applies to poking a little stick at Einstein and his concepts to try to move light as a constant in the universe. Natural light has no constant. It is a grouping of dense sections of light with other waveforms in between. Lasers, which I don't think were around during Einstein's time, are what is a consistent form of light and can be used for a form of measurement, not light itself. I know that all the physicists go crazy, that's a horrible summary, but again, you can't base a system of diagnosis off of a inconsistent system. Universe does not create any consistency. So, we can basically say at this point, there is no universal connection to humanity and music outside of the human mind and body. It does not exist in the heavens. Noise exists in the heavens and radio frequencies. What perceives to be the same thing is never the same thing. Truth can diagnose that. Now, all of humanity interconnected by music. Well, this isn't actually true. I grew up in upstate New York. There isn't a lot of European-based Latin-speaking folks in upstate New York. You put on a Latin music channel, your English-speaking brain is quick to hit the channel to change it when you're not used to it, because it just doesn't sound right. This isn't a racial issue. This isn't a sociological issue. This is because the English-speaking cadence is a certain way, and we use tempo and tones in our voices, and we use instruments to match those. Someone who speaks in a Latin-based tone and pitch uses a different instrument set to a different pitch because it feels comforting. It feels like their language. And then there is the language itself, which is different. So the frequency that a English-speaking person at their core that isn't around a lot of Latin-speaking folks listens to would be different than a Latin person would. Now this also goes through Arabic, it goes through Chinese, it goes through any Eastern language. When you have an English-speaking language, just put on a Taiwanese YouTube videos and see how many of them make you want to get up and dance and move. It doesn't really inspire passion. So here's the truth of this. Music as a whole is not universally impacting. It is dependent upon my core speaking of language. Again, we've lost the capacity to apply anything truthful to what this gentleman was saying for the universal language, and we found it to be a part of a way we speak transmitted through an order of lyrical function mixed with audio tones matching our core language. Now, this is me standing at zero again, so all I would do is go, okay, let me come down to this X0 position, and I'm going to look at Latin music, I'm going to look at Arabic music, I'm going to look at Chinese music, or whatever it wants to be, and I'm going to stand at the truth of those positions indifferent and judge it. And that's the conclusion that I came with. Now, so then where does music come from there, smart guy? And why do we like it so much? Well, in the diagnosis of music, this pattern right here has an interesting characteristic to it. Now, all the heart surgeons out there will throw their keys at their computer screen and go, that is not a cardio EKG, blah, 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 blah. But what you're seeing here is you're seeing an echo of a human heartbeat. Now, my system of reasoning says that consciousness exists at zero. Consciousness exists at a position of pure reasoning, a pure abstract form that is not organic, it is not atomic, it is not waveform, it is a system of energy, interconnections, reasoning at its core. The mind is aware of itself at a certain time, and this is for the abortion rights people to debate and not anything I am concerning myself with, to say, hey look, eventually you're aware of an outside energy. It's your heartbeat. As your mind is developing, at one time or another, the first outside energy input that you will become conscious to is your own heartbeat. This is what Zero will show you. You can drill this back through all your human experiences. Drive it back to everything. Every time that music impacted you, and find the chain of it that takes you all the way back to one point in time, and that is at the first time your heart beat. Your mind is conscious to things that are not relative to your organic form. Your heart starts to beat. Ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba. A cadence is given. You find comfort in that cadence. You find it to be a soothing representation to tell you that you're not alone. It is the first time something's speaking to you. And then there's a second. It's your mom's heartbeat. Ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. Now you are aware of yourself and you are not alone. But that is not enough. The consciousness needs outside information to tell it is of value. Now, this is a reach, and I don't have time in this situation to explain how all these 0 points came together, but this is the diagnosis through there. So now, what is music? Music is a reflection of an emptiness within inside of ourselves. We want to be reminded that we are not alone. We want to be reminded of a cadence that makes us feel like we're not alone. And then we want to be reminded of the fact that something else is connected to us. That's our mother. So every time a song comes on that matches your audio tones that you speak, that matches your mental predispositions, your perceptions of how you understand the world through language, that matches it through music, you're being reminded of your own identity and your connection to another human being. When it hits it just right, you feel like you're on top of the world. And eventually it polarizes and drains and goes away. Music itself is not universal. It's a creation of man to simulate and duplicate an emptiness. We need to fill it. We need to fill it by creating something that reminds us of something of who we are and what we were connected to. Now this can go on and on and on and on, but as I said, we're on YouTube and I'm only getting 5 minutes to speak. So this will conclude my singular reasoning concept of what is music, why is it not universal, why is it completely perception based, and what is driving it in humanity. Singular reasoning and the exercises to apply it can be found at singularreasoning.com. There's a thesis paper and a novel written by me under the pen name Logos that is an abstract writing style to help teach the art of reasoning. Thank you. Have a good day.